welcome the viewers that saw the Cincinnati Bengals edge the New York Giants 23-22. Dick Stockton, Daryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. The Redskins will get the ball first as Billy Cundiff gets the game underway, and he kicks it to Liddell Betts. And Betts gets to the 22-yard line. So the Washington Redskins, and what they need to do is to get their offense to match their defense. And here is Patrick Ramsey, who is making his 6th start and has been kind of mistake-free. And Ramsey has managed the game very well to the liking of Joe Gibbs. Mark Brunell, of course, started the first 9 games of the season. So the Redskins go on attack. First down on their 24. Throwing on first down. And the pass is caught by the H-back, the rookie who is impressed as the number 3 pick. So the Redskins with the offensive line, the ageless Ray Brown at right tackle, trying to get some points on the board.
I think you make a good point, Dick, about this offense trying to keep pace with the defense. And Joe Gibbs was very open. He said, you know, I'm not going to accept any of the credit for what that defense has done. The offense is my side of the ball. But Patrick Ramsey is starting to give them some really positive things. And it's because he's been able to learn the system that Joe Gibbs runs. It's very different than what he had at Tulane and last year, the last 2 years under Steve Spurrier.
Speaking of Tulane, the New Orleans audience that beat Atlanta today just joining us as we get underway as the Redskins and the Cowboys meet once again. Redskins won in week 3, 21-18, and taking a look now at the defense of the Dallas Cowboys, and they played one of their better games last week when they almost beat the Eagles.
They really did have a solid game, and it really started with the guys up front. Greg Ellis had a really solid game, a sack fumble, created some turnovers. Lance Frazier played well. Terrence Newman, the secondary, probably as a group had their best game of the season last week.
On second down and 8, the pass out of the backfield to Cooley, the rookie from Utah State. And he is stopped short of the first down by 4 yards by the rookie cornerback Lance Frazier. So the Redskins, who have lost 13 out of 14, and Joe Gibbs has been beaten by Bill Parcells the last 7 times these coaches have opposed each other. Third down and 3. The Redskins on their 42. And Ramsey's pass, and it is caught, and it should be a first down. Lavernius Coles. The Lions defeated the Bears today 19-3, and those of you who watched that NFC North game, welcome to Dallas.
This is the ball control offense that Patrick Ramsey is trying to become comfortable, and you see right there, it's just finding those open spaces in the zone defenses, and Lavernius Coles does a good job right in between Scott Shanley and Roy Williams, finding that spot and being able to deliver it on time.
The matchup, Redskin offense near the bottom of the league. Cowboys at the bottom 3rd, and Clinton Portis gaining about 3 yards on first down. Dexter Coakley making the tackle. 2 of the last 3 games won by the Redskins. They scored the most points they did all year. 31 against the Giants, and then last week 26 in their win Saturday against the 49ers.
And the big thing, it's been the offensive line kind of coming together as a group. They lost John Jansen before the season started, and their right tackle has been out of the lineup all season. That really hurt them, but I like what they're doing with Clinton Portis. They're starting to add some runs into their running game that are what he does best, and that's a press play and getting him on the perimeter quickly.
2nd and 7 with 2 tight ends, and Taylor Jacobs with a first down. So a wide receiver screen to Taylor Jacobs, and a first down getting 10 yards. And for a game break, let's check in with James Brown in L.A.
Hey, Dick Stockton. The 2-point conversion was good. They go to overtime and win it in OT. Mike Vanderjagt with that 30-yard field goal. Colts keeping alive their first-round bye hopes. Back to Dick Stockton.
All right, JB, thank you. Meanwhile, the Redskins operating at the 41-yard line of Dallas. Hand off to Clinton Portis. And Portis getting about 5 yards on first down as the Redskins driving on their first possession of the game.
The last few plays, we've seen one of the overlooked reasons why Dallas has struggled defensively this year, and that's poor tackling. And when you've got a guy like Clinton Portis who's carrying the ball, you can see his average per carry is under 4. That's not great, but you know, he has the ability to take the ball the distance. They've got to get these ball carriers, these receivers on the ground.
100 yards in 5 games for Portis, all victories by the Redskins. 2nd and 5, and the pass is caught by Coles, and his extra effort will net the Redskins another first down inside the Cowboy 30. The tackles made by Shanley and Marcellus Wiley.
And again, it's missed tackles on the perimeter. They've got the play stopped short of the first down, but because they can't get Lavernius Coles on the ground, he's able to work for the necessary yardage and keep the chains moving. It gives you more opportunities. And it's something that's new in the NFL. We've seen a lot of poor tackling. That's because this game is being played in open spaces a lot more than it has in the past. When you open up formations and you get those 4 wide receivers, the guys are forced to make a lot more open field tackles.
First down on the 29. Portis diving for a couple. You saw Bill Parcells on the sidelines for the Dallas Cowboys. And Parcells said he had goals earlier in the year. He was hoping the Cowboys could get to 4-2 if they could have beaten the Giants and the Steelers at home. They didn't. Then he wanted to say if he could beat Detroit and Cincinnati, could get to 500 by midseason. He has stuck with Vinny Testaverde. And after the Cowboys beat the Bears and the Seahawks, he thought he had a real chance for the playoffs, but they have basically been dashed. 2nd down and 7, plenty of time for Ramsey. And underneath to Coles, who's getting all the short passes, and he is about a couple of yards shy of the first down with Frazier on the tackle.
And that's why a lot of the fans here in Dallas and the local media have been questioning Bill Parcells' decision to stay with Vinny Testaverde as a quarterback, because one of the things that he could talk about at that time was, hey, I don't want this team to think I've given up on him and the season's over. Well, you just made the point that their playoff hopes pretty much have been dashed. I think it's time, you know, these fans are going to want to see which one of these young quarterbacks is somebody they can build their future around.
Well, they may see Tony Romo today, but meanwhile, the Redskins trying to get the lead with a 3rd down and 3, and the handoff is to Clinton Portis, and Portis should get the first down and will inside the 20, close to the 18-yard line. Tough running. He gets the tough yards, does Clinton Portis.
Watch Derek Dockery, number 66, as he pulls out around. Watch the block on the perimeter right here. He gets that wind coming across, takes him right to his back. That's very athletic out in space for a big offensive lineman.
You know, the offensive line also, the Redskins are doing a great job of putting the defensive linemen of the Cowboys on the ground, cutting them, making them go and be athletes out there. That's why they're running side to side and getting some yards down here, Daryl.
Well, when you talk about Joe Gibbs and how he likes to run the ball, when you remember the Redskins of old, it was the pulling linemen and the counter trade, down blocks, creating angles. And I think one of the really good things he's done as a coach with this offense is he knows what Clinton Portis' strengths are running the football, and that's getting him on the edge. You remember what he did out in Denver. They've added the press play, which is kind of stretching the defense one side or the other. They're tossing the ball on the perimeter quickly. And when you're a coach, you've got to be able to get your personnel and design your game plan around them. He didn't try and do the force the square peg in the round hole thing with Clinton Portis. He did a little bit of a mix, and that really hurts the defense because there's so many different things they're doing in the running game. It's hard to be good at defending all of them.
First down for the Redskins on the 19. Liddell Betts giving Clinton Portis a breather. And a great job of ball control on the first possession of the game. Ramsey with the short drop, and he completes it to Rob Gardner, who's knocked out of bounds. So Patrick Ramsey on this drive is a perfect 7 for 7.
That's what he will be able to do in this offense, because the passing game is part of that ball control that they try to establish in the running game. You've seen on this drive, it's short passes. Now, Patrick Ramsey in college at Tulane and with Steve Spurrier the last couple of years, it's been an aggressive down-the-field vertical passing game, and he really struggled with that transition coming in. He's never been in a system where they had sight adjust, where the receiver routes will change at the line of scrimmage, so it was kind of a learning process for him to go through, but he did a good job when he was behind Mark Brunell of paying the extra time to learn this new system.
2nd and 6, and Liddell Betts charges to the 11-yard line, and you can see why Ramsey has executed this mistake-free offense, because they're very conservative. Dat Wynn making the tackle on Betts after a pickup of 4.
And I don't know if I really like the word conservative, because, you know, you're just doing it. It establishes a rhythm in your offense. It's very disheartening for a defense for you to take the opening drive and just methodically march the ball down the field, and that's what we're seeing on this drive. So, you know, sometimes people will call it conservative. I call it very efficient.
I call it frustrating for a defense. That three-step drop, you can't much do anything to get your hands up.
14th play of the drive, and this pass and it may be intercepted, and it is. So after all of that, the pass to Brian Kozlowski is deflected and intercepted by Lynn Scott. That's the danger of a long drive, because sooner or later, you may have a penalty, or you may have what happened here, a turnover, when it looked like the Redskins were threatening to score. So a pretty impressive drive, 14 plays, 65 yards, and the Redskins show nothing for it, and the Cowboys on the interception will start at the 5-yard line. First down with 7:19 to go, and from his end zone, the pass out of the backfield to Darian Barnes, and the Cowboys fullback getting the call and getting the first down and taking a long run around the Washington Redskins bench.
Going to be a little tired when he gets back to the huddle.
Vinny Testaverde, once again the starter, and I guess when you're 41 years old and you've played forever, you do throw a touchdown pass to 63 different players.
It'd be one thing if you were in one place for that long, you just had a lot of different receivers coming into your team, but Vinny Testaverde has been with a number of clubs, but he's been an efficient quarterback at every stop he's been in.
14-yard pickup, 2 tight end alignment, and the pitch going to Jones. And Jones is stopped at the 20-yard line, and was good pressure by the defense led by Fred Smoot from the corner position. Taking a look at the Redskin defense and the Cowboys offensive group, Kurt Voeller's again starting at right tackle, Larry Allen heading for the Pro Bowl, and once again avoiding mistakes, and Jason Witten, another Pro Bowl player.
Yeah, Jason Witten had a breakout season this year, and you know, you wonder the way this offensive line has played the last 2 weeks against New Orleans and against the Philadelphia Eagles. If the Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator, had a lot of areas that he wanted to attack with his blitz.
Well, Julius Jones is not able to attack the Redskin defense. What a great defense this club is. They have limited opposing teams to 83 yards rushing. And it all starts up front.
It really does. Cornelius Griffin, maybe a guy that got snubbed in the Pro Bowl voting, and they've used that as motivation getting ready this week. You know, this is a defense that's trying to become the #1 defense in the league, and they've only had Marcus Washington named to the Pro Bowl. They've got a couple alternates on that group, but they felt that they were overlooked by the guys voting around the league. So they've got another chip on their shoulder for something to prove this afternoon.
Don't think Greg Blanche didn't use that either in the lockdown coming out here, Moose.
A lot of motivation. 3rd down and 12, and the sack, and it's Sean Springs, who did not play last week against the 49ers because of a concussion, back in there and gets the sack. A loss of 5. 4th down coming up.
And he's going to come right out this way. He's going to come in unblocked. Dallas is very fortunate right here, because Sean Springs is coming from Vinny Testaverde's blind side, and he's got the ball out in his hand. You're going to watch. Here comes number 24, number 25, Ryan Clark. They can only block one of them. Vinny did a good job of holding on to that, because that's a potential for a sack fumble. 1st down Redskins inside the Cowboy 10.
And Matt McBriar with the punt, and it should translate into good field position for the Redskins. Antonio Brown on the return, and it will be at least good field position, and maybe more. Antonio Brown, and Brown goes out of bounds. They'll mark it at about the 24-yard line. So a punt returner for the first time last week in a Redskin uniform, and a return of 38 yards. And now the Redskins again in the driver's seat in a scoreless game. Last time they were down close, they throw a pick. We'll see what they do this time when we come back. Redskins and Cowboys, no score, but the Redskins threaten again. And a great deal of time of possession on the first drive, and now they have it on the 23.
And I think just as this game is unfolding right now, you can see the Washington Redskins much more emotional, playing with a purpose. Dallas kind of just searching, wandering around out there. It's a much different feel right now from both of these teams.
And Ramsey's pass, and it was Terrence Newman who had the best shot at it. Taylor Jacobs appeared to have fallen. And the pass, almost another interception thrown by Ramsey. The last time in his defense was off the hands of a receiver.
Yeah, and this one was almost because a receiver can't keep his balance. It's a double move on the outside, but Taylor Jacobs slips, and Terrence Newman, you know, he should have made that play. And that's, you know, we've seen Dallas a number of times this year. It's those plays during the course of a game that they don't make on a consistent basis.
2nd down and 10. And here's Clinton Portis diving to the 20-yard line. Let's check in with James Brown for a game break.
Hey, Dick, Carolina's still hoping for a postseason berth. Take a look at this outstanding catch, Dick, by Muhsin Muhammad from Jake Delhomme. A 15-yarder, one-handed snag. Only he could have gotten that one. That put them on the scoreboard. They're on top, 7-0 over the Bucs, who, by the way, the Bucs have been eliminated from playoff contention. Back to Dick Stockton.
They look like they won it, even though they lost to Atlanta last week in a heartbreaker.
Yeah, and it's just a credit again to John Fox, keeping that team together all season after a 1-7 start, but having them playing that well after a heartbreaking loss to Atlanta last Saturday.
3rd down and 7, and here is Ramsey, and the catch is made by Rod Gardner. Gardner makes the catch and a 1st down at the 11-yard line for Rod Gardner, and Ramsey has the Redskins threatening again to take the lead.
And Lance Frazier was lobbying for an offensive pass interference, a little shove there at the top. That ball got on Rod Gardner very quickly. A good job of picking it up at the last second, but didn't see enough at the top of that to warrant a flag.
So it'll be 1st down just outside the 10-yard line. Theoretically, the Redskins could get a 1st down without scoring. Here is Portis. And not much testing the middle of the line. Clinton Portis coming into the game after a 110-yard effort. Tough yards last week against the 49ers. And he become the first NFL player to rush for 1,500 yards in the first 3 seasons.
And that's another makeable goal, and we've kind of talked about the Washington defense. One of their motivating factors is to finish #1 in the NFL. Now, Clinton Portis to start his career with 3 consecutive 1,500-yard rushing seasons. It's something for the offense to shoot for.
And there's a play action and a good fake. Ramsey back there, and the defender Greg Ellis got a piece of the throwing arm of Patrick Ramsey from behind. Once again, Ellis with 9 sacks, a career high, getting the job done.
And he's your guy that's probably one of your most, day in, day out, most of your consistent performer. Patrick Ramsey in this situation, I know, especially at the quarterback spot, I mean, to be a great quarterback in the NFL, you've got to have that competitive spirit, but sometimes the play is dead, and the only thing that's going to happen is something negative. And after that first drive where they had the pick down here, Patrick Ramsey's dodged a couple bullets on this drive.
3rd down and 6. And the pass incomplete. Lavernius Coles a yard in the end zone. So 4th down coming up. And Jeff Chandler will come into the game to try to put the Redskins on the board.
You know, Moose, we had this Cowboy team last week, and I'm watching Roy Williams down here, and he's just running around looking for that big hit. I'm having so much fun watching this guy. He should have been a defensive lineman. He really impresses me the more I'm watching him.
So here's Chandler, who hit on a 49-yarder, was just signed last Thursday, former 49er kicker. This will be a 25-yard attempt to give the Redskins the lead, and he does. Jeff Chandler, and it was John Hall who went out with a groin injury, so the Redskins had to replace their place kicker, and he puts them in front, 3-0. Back here at Texas Stadium, full house on hand for another Cowboy-Redskin game. And you're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in the world's finest high-definition standard. Coming into this game, both teams were still mathematically alive, but they needed so many things to happen for them to be successful. In fact, team could even win this game, and then they'd be out. So the chances are dimmer than dim. Terrence Copper returning the kickoff. And a great play made in special teams at the 19-yard line by Pat Dennis. 3-0 in favor of the Redskins. We'll see what the Cowboys do on attack. Just under 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter, and you got to think the Redskin defense is kind of fresh. Cowboys have run only 4 plays compared to 20 already by the Redskins. It's a 3-0 game as Dallas starts from the 19. Rookie Julius Jones picks up 1 yard on the play, and all of us, when we came here to Texas Stadium, stunned, and players, coaches, fans, all of us in the media, by the death of Reggie White, who died at the age of 43 today. Maybe the best defensive end who ever played the game, probably was, and played for the Eagles and then the Green Bay Packers. And I know, Daryl, you played against him many times, and we're going to get the thoughts of Tony Siragusa as well.
It's very somber. I mean, it just some tragic news The entire NFL and all the players who have played, and Reggie White, when you talk about a guy who you had to game plan around, you had to change your protections, you had to do things differently against Reggie White than you'd ever done all season long. And you had a tackle, you added a tight end, your back would always chip on the way out, and they could move him across the defensive line, and you always had to know where he was. And it's very rare to see somebody from the defensive side of the ball be able to take over a game, but Reggie White was one of those guys.
Greg Blosch, of course, was at Green Bay when Reggie White signed with the Packers as a free agent, and of course Tony Siragusa very close to Greg Blosch in his career.
You know, when I got into the Colts, Greg Blosch would pull out tape, and that's all we would watch. He would have clinic reels on Reggie, how he would rush the passer, and he pretty much set the standard for a defensive lineman. If there's any defensive lineman ever played in the league, you had watched tape on Reggie on how he pass rushed. There wasn't a better one out there.
And one of the classiest things I ever saw from Reggie White, Eric Williams, who was involved in a very serious car accident, and they had some just unbelievable battles. Right tackle Eric Williams for the Cowboys, and we were at the hospital visiting Eric, and Reggie White called him in the hospital to wish him his best and hope he got back on the field. And you know, he was just a class act on and off the field.
We'll all miss him. First down at the 31, Keyshawn Johnson. So Julius Jones got a first down on 2 rushes, and now Keyshawn Johnson picks up 12.
Well, Dallas finally getting to get away from their end zone, get out to the field, be a little bit more aggressive. And Keyshawn Johnson, you know, he was brought in here as a guy to give them some ability in the slot, some third down catches, but with the injury to Terry Glenn and some things that have happened on the outside, Keyshawn has kind of had to step out of that role and now become their guy on the outside who's working the intermediate to longer routes down the field, and he's quietly done a nice job this season in that role.
They have, and they've missed Terry Glenn as Richie Anderson getting the call, and tackled by Lamar Marshall, who is starting for LeVar Arrington. Again, Arrington returned last week for the first time in 11 weeks, coming back from injury. Unable to start today, and we saw him on the field working with Greg Blosch to see whether he could go. It'll be second down and 7 as time runs out. 10 seconds on the clock, and it will run out in a fast first quarter.
Talking about a defense that is going to fight for number 1, and they haven't had LeVar Arrington all season. Just think how good they could have been.
Yes, gives you an idea. At the end of the first quarter, the Redskins in front. Combined 5 Super Bowl trophies between the two of them, Bill Parcells and Joe Gibbs, as we start the second quarter. Second down and 7, and the pass caught by Keyshawn Johnson, but the Redskins are there. A great swarming defense, did not get out of bounds. 2 yards on the play. Fred Smoot was the first to get to Keyshawn.
And this is a very aggressive defensive philosophy that Greg Williams uses, and it's to create chaos, you know, for the offense. It's to disrupt your timing and your rhythm. Now, the first time that Dallas and Washington played way back in week 3, Terry Glenn was still on the offense. He's since then been placed on IR. He was their big play guy, their vertical threat. Now, Dallas doesn't have that, so they're playing, you know, right into a situation where Washington, if I'm Greg Williams, you know, you have to expect to see a number of blitzes today because they're not going to be worried about that big play threat on the outside from this group of wide receivers.
And Terry Glenn caught 3 passes, including a touchdown grab in that first meeting against the Redskins. Testaverde getting rushed from behind, and the pass is caught. I don't think they got the first down. It's a Keyshawn again, but let's see where the forward progress is. And a few words exchanged between Sean Taylor and Keyshawn Johnson.
Sean Taylor is a young safety. He is going to be a good football player in this league. Now, he's had some growing pains in his rookie season, but just like everybody else on this Redskin team, he's playing his best football of the season here in the month of December. And, you know, he's very similar to an Ed Reed who came out of the same school, the University of Miami, as Sean Taylor. That ball-hawking safety, not a big hitter like Roy Williams who likes to come up and make the big hit. He's going after the ball and trying to create big plays through making interceptions as opposed to putting a big hit on somebody.
There you see LeVar Arrington, who was involved in the last play. So once again, Arrington doesn't start, but he gets in there. And Joe Gibbs saying during the week how pleased he was to get Arrington in. It's amazing how well this defense has played, you're right, with Arrington on the sidelines. It is a first down for the Cowboys as they get into Redskin territory to the 47, and Sean Taylor could be the defensive rookie of the year, the #1 pick out of Miami, and to say he is aggressive would be an understatement.
Yeah, he's going to fit into this scheme, and you think about a defense in 2005 with Sean Taylor and LeVar Arrington back and healthy, and now LeVar Arrington, you know, he's played in Marvin Lewis's scheme. We'll talk to Tony about that, how it's very assignment oriented. LeVar Arrington is at his best when he is allowed to just kind of be disruptive and be in different spots on the defense, and Greg Williams will maximize his potential as a defender as he learns this system.
First down on the 46-yard line, and here's Julius Jones changing direction and diving to the 42-yard line. Ryan Clark, the strong safety, coming up to make the play, picking up 4. Next week, Fox NFL Sunday begins with America's #1 pregame show, and then these Redskins will host Dante Culpepper and the Minnesota Vikings in Washington. The Atlanta Falcons will be in Seattle to battle the Seahawks or other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific here on Fox, presented in Fox Sports High Definition. Cowboys trailing the Redskins 3-0, 2nd down and 6, and Jones. Great run by Jones before Sean Taylor makes the tackle. This against one of the better run defenses in the NFL. 7-yard pickup for Julius Jones as we check in again with James Brown for a game break.
Hey, Dick, with the Buccaneers out of the playoffs, looking to play spoilers here. Take a look at Brian Greasy hooking up with Michael Clayton. Hey, Dick, I don't know how you would grade this effort right there. Not as artistic as I'm sure Clayton would have liked, but nonetheless, a touchdown that knocks it up at 7. Back to the multi-talented Dick Stockton.
JB, I agree with that one. If you're going to hurdle a guy, make sure that he's going to come up and hit you low. Don't have him standing there full. I don't know what he thought he was going to do. He's all of a sudden going to elevate 8 feet off the ground.
First down, in trouble. Testaverde downfield, and a flag is down. And it was the tight end, Jason Witten. And he might have been bumped. Fred Smoot was defending him, and Witten, who has exceeded all expectations of his head coach, Bill Parcells, may be the beneficiary of a pass interference call.
Pass interference. Defense, number 21. Spot foul. Automatic. First down.
Bill Vinovich in his first year as an NFL referee.
And it was a big pass interference call the first time these guys played back in week 3 that got the Dallas Cowboys down deep into Washington territory. And it goes back to what we said. This style, this philosophy affords you the opportunity to have big plays, whether it's something you execute and complete down the field or the potential, like right there, for a pass interference call.
So the 10th play of the drive coming up for the Cowboys. That was a 21-yard penalty. And Dallas now with a 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. And Vinny Testaverde says, I don't know how many times I'm going to be down this close. I want to make sure. And he calls a timeout. Play clock may have been dropping as well. Can Dallas get in the end zone? We'll find out when we come back. Early in the 2nd quarter, and I guess Washington, Dallas always special, as you would know, and as Joe Gibbs says, hey, it's a big deal for us and a big deal for them, so it's a big deal.
Yeah, and don't say that this isn't a rivalry anymore. He made the comment that, well, that Dallas has won 13 of the last 14, so I don't call it a rivalry unless we get more competitive. It's always going to be there, and it's one of the great rivalries in the NFL. It's always a fun game, and when you talk about interdivision, and then you add the fact that it's Cowboys, Redskins, it's always a big game, regardless of the situation. And here you got 2 teams sitting at 5-9. You know, not the greatest seasons, but it's still Dallas and Washington. You can throw all that other stuff out.
Hey, one of these teams are going to finish last maybe in the NFC East unless the Giants do. Someone will finish 3rd. Here's Julius Jones with blocking in front and tries to hurdle a defender and gets hit hard, picking up nothing on the play. And it was Lamar Marshall making the big hit here.
I want to watch. Right here, watch Darian Barnes, number 36. That's Sean Taylor. You come out, you take away the lead blocker. You force Julius Jones to leave the ground. And watch Lamar Marshall come in. He's got him while he's suspended in the air. That's the flow of the defense, getting as many guys around the ball. It's always been a basic philosophy with Greg Williams when he was at Tennessee, when he was the head coach of Buffalo. When you play a defense that's coached by Greg Williams, you're going to see great effort and speed all over the field.
Interesting, the red zone defense by the Redskins not impressive, although that rush was knocking Julius Jones back. And again, Sean Taylor led the way, a loss of 2 yards on the play. So Jones now with 9 carries has gained 20.
And again, it's Sean Taylor. He's going to come in on the blitz. He's going to come through, and it's just disruptive. It's well-timed. You've got all your linemen engaged in their blocks, and Sean Taylor is just coming. Watch him time it. Watch the depth he's coming from. Everybody's engaged in the blocks. They've got two guys coming free. You've got Antonio Pierce, number 58, also coming free. So Greg Williams, he watched that tape. He's found out a weak link somewhere in that offensive line that he wants to attack.
Sure has, and now it is 3rd and long, 3rd down and 12, and they're going to run it with Julius Jones, and Jones is going to get inside the 5-yard line, or inside the 10, and still well short of first down yardage. And now Billy Cundiff will come on to try to tie the game.
I like the toughness of Julius Jones. One of the things he's done very well this year is he's given the play an opportunity because he can make people miss. He's taken away that negative running play because of his quick feet and his vision in the backfield. And you tend to stereotype that as maybe as a guy who's not as tough. But you've seen so far during the course of this game, and since he's been the starter for Dallas, he is a physical runner. I mean, he had that stretch of 30-plus carries in 3 consecutive games. So he's shown me a lot in that aspect.
Cundiff ties the game with a 26-yard field goal, tied 3-3. Now the Redskins have a chance to break the tie. Back here at Texas Stadium, the Cowboys and the Redskins tied 3-3. And Billy Cundiff will be kicking off to the Redskins, who have James Thrash and Liddell Betts back. Longest play of the game so far has been only 14 yards. Vinny Testaverde hitting Darian Barnes, the fullback, for that amount, and Liddell Betts returning this kickoff from the 7-yard line. And the Cowboys, one of the best kick return coverage teams in the National Football League, do the job. We'll come back. Redskins get their chance now. And speaking of the Cowboy-Redskin rivalry, Joe Gibbs returning to Texas Stadium for the first time since September 7th, 1992. And trying to get his Redskins, as is Bill Parcells, to 6-9 with 1 game to play. First down on the 25-yard line. Patrick Ramsey, quarterback now and next year, is declared by Gibbs. Hands off to Clinton Portis going outside. And a good tackle made by Lynn Scott, the strong safety. And a 2.5-yard gain. And
a tremendous amount of change since Joe Gibbs has left. 11 seasons he's been away from the NFL, and you think back during that time, that was the advent of free agency and what you have to do to build your team. And he says he loves free agency. He said he was like a kid in the candy store, you know, when he was trying to get his roster set this year. But the salary cap, he's not a real big fan of that. And when you've got Dan Snyder, I mean, that team has got to be pressed against the cap. So, but he still feels, you know, that philosophy of what he believed in before, which is protecting your quarterback, stopping the run, playing good special teams. That is still what you have to do today, even though the business side has changed a little bit.
Here's Portis again, and he is stopped shy of the 30 by Leonardo Carson. Well, he loves free agency, but not if he loses a player that is prized to him. Taking a look now at the Cowboys, who have given up the most points in the 4th quarter, but second to that, 2nd quarter has been their undoing.
Yeah, it's been a tough finish to both halves, and it really, from the 2nd quarter on, Dallas has really struggled. They've gotten off to some good starts, haven't been able to hold leads, which is something that's probably more troubling to Bill Parcells than anything this season, their inability to maintain second-half leads.
3rd and 5 in a 3-3 game. Ramsey getting enough time, and the pass nearly picked off. Gardner claims he was interfered with and may have a point, as Roy Williams and Lynn Scott were in the neighborhood, and immediately Gardner had pointed, and the officials threw the late flag.
Pass interference. Defense, number 38. Spot foul, automatic, first down.
Lynn Scott, number 38, is going to be your safety. He's going to come in, pick up Rod Gardner as he gets down into the field. And you see right there, comes up, gets his hands on the back, makes a little bit of contact. You got it. The fans here are starting to boo a little bit, but the rules are pretty black and white when you talk about pass interference. There's not a lot of judgment on the outside as people think. There's some different classes of how they term that during the course of a pass play, and that obviously everybody knows you can't come up and make contact in the back when the ball's coming in.
First down on the 43. The pass drilled and it's picked off by Terrence Newman. And Newman was looking a lateral to a player and instead held on. So Terrence Newman who played his best game of the year last week against the Eagles with an interception, picks one off here.
Second time we've seen a receiver kind of stumble on the outside for the Redskins. This time, Terrence Newman makes good and intercepts the ball. Lavernius Cole stumbles at the top of the route. You also wonder if there was a miscommunication, him going outside, because this ball is thrown inside. Then you see the pressure by Leonardo Carson, number 91, right in Patrick Ramsey's face as he's about to deliver the ball.
Carson did a great job getting his hands up. It looked like from behind it, he couldn't even see the receiver, Ramsey. He was right in his face.
So the Cowboys get it back on the second interception thrown by Patrick Ramsey, and Vinny Testaverde can pick and choose. And he chooses to go with Witten, his tight end, close to midfield, getting 8 yards.
And the reason he had time to pick and choose, the Dallas offensive line doing a good job in their protection, and they're just bringing the 4 down linemen, nothing to generate pressure. Eddie George gets in there to help out. They walled everybody off to Vinny's right. He's got the whole left side of the line, clear view downfield to find Jason Witten.
Newman, meanwhile, who had 3 interceptions against the Redskins last year in 1 game, now leads the club with 4 picks. It'll be second down and 2. Eddie George is the running back, and George gets stopped by Demetric Evans. A penalty flag is down. No gain on the play. So George, who has been inactive in the last 2 games, active today and stopped at the line.
Holding. Defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Joe Salavea, that'll bring cheers from this Dallas crowd.
Well, they're going to get the first down on a penalty, but I don't agree with, Eddie George. He's a big physical downhill runner, but Dallas's big problem this season, and it will continue to be this afternoon because of how active that defensive front is for the Washington Redskins and their blitzes, even in the running game, that you've got to have the ability to make somebody miss in the backfield. That's Julius Jones' strength over Eddie George. I think in a second down and short, third down and short, you still stay with Julius Jones in the backfield.
Not good news for the Redskins, who have lost their last 9 when they commit 2 turnovers, and somebody got a hand on a deflection as Testaverde tried to throw. Right now, a game break coming up. Let's join James Brown.
Dick, as you well know, what a story for Carolina here. Jake Delhomme hooking up for his second touchdown of the game to Musa Muhammad. Muhammad has 14 on the season. That ties T.O. What a comeback by a team that started 1-7. Right now up 14-7 over Tampa Bay. Back to Dick Stockton.
And JB, I have to tell you that Carolina gets in the playoffs, they are going to be a threat for anyone. They are the defending NFC champions and on a roll.
They really are, and JB makes a great point. 1-7, they're able to hold that team together. And again, you got to go back to last week. You talk about that loss to the Atlanta Falcons, and for them to come back and play as well they are right now. And there's a team, the Saints won today. And they are in a position to control their destiny. And we had them early in December.
You mean the high school team?
The team that couldn't beat a high school team. Their owner, Tom Benson, said they couldn't beat a high school team out there. And look at what Jim Haslett has done. There's a coach that's on the hot seat. Everybody was calling for his job in early December. He's got his guys playing well. And it all started right here at Texas Stadium a couple of weeks ago. And they came in and shut the Dallas Cowboys down.
You don't know until they close the doors after week 17. Richie Anderson picked up 9 yards on the play, and the handoff to Eddie George, and George will get the first down as the Cowboys driving to the Redskin 30-yard line, a 6-yard gain on the play. Well, this February, television's biggest event returns to Fox with a full day of coverage, beginning with a star-studded pregame spectacular. And in the game's best teams meet to crown a champion. Super Bowl 39 this February in high definition, only on Fox. Julius Jones back in the lineup for Dallas. First down on the 30 of the Redskins. 3-3 to score. And Testaverde with a quick throw, and it's caught by Keyshawn Johnson. And Johnson close to another first down.
There's a nice little wrinkle by the Dallas offense right there. You go to split backs and you dash Vinny Testaverde, get him out on the outside. Get the 41-year-old guy out there on the corner and give him a shot to get the ball downfield to Keyshawn Johnson.
Tell you what, and part of that extravaganza, the pregame show prior to Super Bowl 39, we're going to have a very interesting situation with the players from the NFL, Major League Baseball, and NASCAR on that famed par 3 at the TPC course, trying to get closest to the hole. We'll tell you more about that later on. That'll be an unusual part of the pregame show. First down on the 20-yard line. Play action for Testaverde. He drills it and goes right past Keyshawn Johnson. Good coverage that time for the Redskins as we check down with Mr. S.
What's up, guys?
What's going on?
How you doing?
Good, good.
I'm here with Rich Beam, the 2002 PGA Championship winner from last year, right?
2002, yes, sir.
2002. And Foxy's going to be doing a special at the 17th hole at the PGA, pregame of the Super Bowl. You have any memories of that hole?
At TPC Sawgrass, you mean? Oh, my gosh, yes, absolutely. It's
hole in one?
No, I wish, I wish. But I did play my first year in the tournament. I played it 3 under for 4 days.
I think they should have maybe a sideline reporter in that crew also.
Second down and 10 and a fumble by
should.
Julius Jones, and the Redskins recover at the 1-yard line. And it was Fred Smoot who made the recovery, so Julius Jones, who burst through the line and appeared headed for the end zone, coughs it up, and the Redskins get it back at the 1. And a flag is down back at the line of scrimmage. Redskins celebrating as if the flag would be against Dallas and it still would be Washington ball.
Holding. Offense, number 82. Penalties declined. First down.
So Jason Witten holding. The penalty, of course, declined, and the Redskins get it back. That's the 3rd turnover of the game, the first committed by the Cowboys, a costly one deep in the red zone.
Julius Jones shouldn't be hard on himself on this play because he's got the ball tucked away pretty good. This is just a good play by Sean Taylor again. Look, he's getting blocked. 36 right there. Reaches out, makes a conscious effort to get that ball out. We talked about him being a ball hawk safety, and that's something that the coaches of the Redskins defense teach. That's how you generate turnovers.
Well, the Redskins only 1 and 6 when recovering an opponent's fumble, starting from the 1-yard line. Ramsey completes to Rod Gardner, and he gets a first down. Flag down as well.
Get a face mask on Rod Gardner.
Lance Frazier, who actually played a lot better against the Eagles last week than in previous weeks against Philadelphia, defending Gardner on the play.
Stiff arm, face mask combo there, Moose, it looked like.
Yeah. Stiff mask.
During the run, face mask. Offense, number 87. After looking for the goal, repeat first down.
Yeah, they didn't even give him the incidental one. They gave him the big one, the big 15-yarder, half the distance from this spot on the field. But again, it's the tackling. Lance Frazier comes up. He gets frozen. That's a big physical guy. You know what? He deserved the 15. He got his hand on there, held on, and kind of drove Lance Frazier's head right into the turf. He gets up looking at the official. I can't believe you called me on that one.
Frazier even had to demonstrate to the official what he did.
That's kind of obvious right there.
First down and 6 from the 4-yard line. And here is Liddell Betts. And Betts may get a couple of yards. Dad Wynn coming in to make the tackle. And you forget about the records. At some point, it's an old Redskin Cowboy Donnybrook without a lot of scoring. But it's a grueling defensive game. We've already had 3 turnovers. It's a 3-3 game as we wind down to 4 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, three turnovers in the game. Some physical play by both of the defenses. Not a lot of a real flashy offense going on in this game right now.
Ball control has shortened up. Gardner, and it may be shy of the first down, depending on where they spot the ball. Keep in mind that yellow line is not official, as Gardner was hit immediately by Lance Frazier, who's playing Gardner very tight thus far in this game.
Very tight. We saw in that previous play a couple plays ago when Rod Gardner got called for the face mask. He took Lance Frazier for a little bit of a ride, but Lance does a good job on this play here because, again, it's out in space. You're one-on-one. The receiver has a two-way go, but you can see how close he was playing on that defensive play.
Third down and 1. And the quick toss off the hands of Chris Cooley. So 4th down coming up. So the Dallas defense, Cowboys coughed it up inside the 1. The defense holds and now could get the ball in ideal field position as the punter Tom Tupa comes on.
But that's the function of a good team when all three phases are working together.
Right.
You've got a mistake by Julius Jones, but that, you know, that's really one of the few times this season I've seen Dallas respond to a negative situation. Their defense comes out, forces the 3 and out. If they do a good job here on special teams, they're right back in Redskin territory with another opportunity.
Tupa, who's had a terrific year with a line drive kick, and not the best kick except that it goes out of bounds short of midfield. Well, we mentioned the pregame golf event at the Super Bowl coming up at TPC Sawgrass in Jacksonville. Teams competing on 3 holes. And Tony, why don't we get more on that with Rich Beam?
Well, we've been watching many 3-step drops, and we're back here at Rich Beam. Rich, what kind of a club would you use at the 17th at Sawgrass?
Usually about an 8, 7 iron maybe. Just kind of depends on what the distance is playing that day and definitely what the wind is doing.
All right, why don't you drive some of these balls at that camera guy right there and see how good you really are here. No. Ooh, little low. Yeah, again. Okay. Ooh, that was better. Little up a little bit more. Choke down. Nice, better. One more. You can get him. Ah! Back to you guys.
1st and 10. I'll go with Rich Beam anytime. Testaverde. And the pass knocked down. It was intended for Eddie George, and defending was Sean Springs. Here's what it looks like the other way.
Yeah, it looked like that last one he had coming right at the camera guy.
He hit him in the head. You just
did he really?
See. Yeah, he hit him in the head. You got any bandages up there?
See, that's my problem. You saw right there Rich Beam. He kept his head down the whole time. He didn't even see it. Where's the mark?
He never got hit. He never got hit.
He's saying on the headphones.
I thought he was 6 foot tall. About 5'5".
2nd down and 10. On the 46-yard line of the Redskins. Tied 3-3. Pressure on Testaverde. And turning around late was Richie Anderson, and nearly right in the hands of Sean Springs. Cowboys very lucky on this one.
Here comes your pressure right here, and Eddie George is going to come out. He's going to run a post. Vinny thought he was going to run a flat. He's going to come out and then come back to the inside. Boy, are they lucky, because Sean Springs, you see him, number 24, is sitting right there. That's an errant throw that if he's got a little bit more on that, Sean Springs is going the distance untouched.
And Marcus Washington came in untouched to Vinny Testaverde. So a close call as George goes to the sideline. And it'll be 3rd down for the Cowboys, who have converted 3 of their 5 previous 3rd down conversions. Richie Anderson in motion, wide to the right. Testaverde completes it. They're not going to get the 1st down. Jason Witten is there. And you got to figure, as you mentioned earlier, without Terry Glenn and a deep threat, Witten has got to be the guy that the Redskins are all around, and they were.
Well, we've seen it the last couple of weeks. Jason Witten has become really the focal point of the passing game, and looks like Bill Parcells right here is going to elect to go for it on 4th down. Jason Witten's got him close enough. That offense is still on the field. Clock's down to 20 seconds. Vinny's talking to the officials. We'll see what's going to happen. But, you know, at this point in the season, when you're sitting at 5-9, sometimes you have some unconventional play calls and situations. And at 3-3 with 2:32 to go in the 1st half, you wonder if Bill Parcells is willing to roll the dice.
Well, Cundiff missed a 46-yarder in the 4th quarter last week in Philadelphia. So you either punt the ball or go for it on 4th and 1, and why not?
This becomes a very difficult point on the field to make those types of decisions. And as you pointed out, Dick, they missed it last week.
4th down and 1 on the 37-yard line. Testaverde gets the 1st down as he finds Keyshawn Johnson to the 29-yard line, getting 9 yards. Smoot on the tackle, so the Cowboys on 4th and 1 convert.
Well, they've got Keyshawn on the backside, one-on-one against Fred Smoot, runs a quick little slant right there. But the play fake, everything else was going right. It was a fake toss to the right. They get everybody running. Fred Smoot does a good job of getting Keyshawn to the ground because they are out there all by themselves. You're going to watch all the flow going that way, and then they come back.
And the 2-minute warning is Keyshawn Johnson with 5 catches, equaling his output of last week. 2 minutes remaining in a 3-3 battle. To this little girl, it's still Christmas. Holiday cheer up at the boxes here in Dallas, and hey, we're on camera. Crowd enjoying themselves, as are the fans in the stands. Vinny Testaverde with a First down on the 29-yard line of the Redskins. Julius Jones turning the corner and knocked out of bounds at the 14, picking up 5. Sean Springs making the play on Jones. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league. And the Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats. 2 field goals in the game. Jeff Chandler for the Redskins in the first quarter from 25 yards out. Billy Cundiff tying it in the second from 26. LeVar Arrington not starting, but playing again for the second week after missing 11. Jones cutting upfield, first down. So Julius Jones, who was picked on the second round by Notre Dame, and of course paying dividends for Bill Parcells, who picked him in that round.
Yeah, and he's just a guy, you know, by his personality that he is going to want to make amends for the fumble that he had on the previous drive. So he's the guy you get down and you start feeding them the ball again, because nobody wants to make up for that more than Julius Jones. And you see the ability he has right there. He's very patient. When he makes a decision is when he gets back up to top speed, but he's not really pressing when he first gets the ball. He's got great control and he's got a great burst.
80 yards in the last 5 games. This will be a pass to Keyshawn Johnson. Good stiff arm by Keyshawn as he gets close to the first down inside the 10-yard line. So it has been Jones and Keyshawn Johnson doing the work on offense.
He's going to have Jason Witten coming out to help him out right here, but he can't get all the way out to Fred Smoot. That's just a nice move by Keyshawn. Gets Fred Smoot on the ground, gets back inside, and you see all those Redskin defenders. You cut back against the green, and you're heading right into the flow of this defense.
Keyshawn with 6 catches for 47 yards. Julius Jones 51 yards rushing. And it'll be second down and 1. Jones first down as he works his way inside the 5-yard line. And right now the Cowboys trying to set up the go-ahead score, and a timeout with 29 seconds remaining in the first half. That is his Dallas last timeout.
Again, Julius Jones showing that he can be a good, effective short yard runner and a guy down around the goal line. You don't have to make that change with Eddie George.
Today's game is being seen around the world on Armed Forces Television, and we want to send our best wishes to the men and women of the 435th Air Base Wing watching in Ramstein, Germany. We thank you for everything you do to keep our country safe. And here are the sentiments from Redskin linebacker LeVar Arrington.
All y'all over there, overseas fighting for our freedom, love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all the real soldiers. Y'all watching, hope y'all entertained.
And Merry Christmas from all of us.
Yeah, there's a lot of analogies between the game of football and the battles that are going on in the real world today. And I think LeVar Arrington makes a great point there. They're the real soldiers. They're the real heroes for our country also.
First and goal on the 4-yard line. Cowboys have used up all their timeouts. And not a given against this defense by any stretch. Testaverde on the rollout. And let's see if he went out of bounds.
I think he did.
Before he threw. He's trying to get it to Jason Witten, and he did. And now the clock is down to 22 seconds.
Well, you can't make the excuse that he'll learn that. You know, he's just a young quarterback, and as he matures and moves along, he'll know to just throw that ball away in that situation. It's just a frustration of their season. You're trying to make a play. You think you've got the corner. Then Sean Springs does a good job of coming off, but that sums it all up right there.
You got to credit the Redskins secondary, and it's very tough against a real good defense to get it in there. It'll count as a sack. No gain on the play, and they're going to run it with Jones. And Jones is tackled at the 5, and now the Cowboys have to hurry up and line up with the clock running. Cornelius Griffin has had a great year, and the Redskins are not making it easy for Jones to get up. And they better spike the ball in a hurry. Testaverde looks at the clock, and he does. And 1 second to go, and this crowd booing because the Cowboys in position to get the touchdown, and Bill Parcells' club will have to settle for what they hope will be 3. Not very pretty.
No, you can see right there, that guy, he wasn't real happy with that play. You run it into the middle of the defense, and you're going to face that problem. You've got no timeouts. They're not going to let you up off the turf. You got to get on the outside, throw something to get somebody on the corner where he can get out of bounds or get in the end zone.
This will be a 23-yard attempt by Billy Cundiff. And the kick is good. So the first half comes to an end. The Cowboys take the lead, and the crowd is not very happy.
Well, here, when you go into the middle of the defense, and this is very close to being an all-or-nothing play. I mean, these guys, they're going to hold him up. They're going to get on top of him. Now, they're not going to get off. The officials are going to come in. They're going to do their best. And then the other challenge you have is when you get lined up, because it's inside of a minute, you can have a 10-second runoff. And now you got guys, they're in arguments. They're, trying to pick fights down there. You've got to realize the place you're at the field, how much time is left on the clock. Dallas is very fortunate there to be able to come away with 3 points.
You got to love that, though, Moose, when guys are quick-witted like that, trying to lay on each other, eat up that clock defensively. I love that stuff.
So that is the end of the first half with the score. It's a field goal game. The Cowboys 6 and the Redskins 3. And Fox NFL Sunday will continue with the Visa halftime report after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Back to Texas Stadium in Dallas. Dick Stockton, Daryl Johnston, and Tony Siragusa getting ready for the start of the third quarter. And here is the fantasy update. And not a lot of scoring, just field goals. And for the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com.
Neither offense able to get into any type of rhythm during that first half. We had some long drives, but the Redskins had a turnover in the red zone on their opening drive. Dallas held to just field goals. So it's been a game that the defense have been flexing their muscles all afternoon.
We knew that would come from the Redskins defense, but then their offense isn't that potent. This is a short kick, and it goes to Terrence Copper. And Copper is upended at the 32-yard line, and let's see how slim those numbers are. How about the rushing numbers? And only 32 yards for the Redskins on the ground.
And that's surprising. Clinton Portis, you would have thought, would have had a bigger day. Dallas has not been as good against the run as they were last season, but they're playing very well. The last game they played against the Eagles, their defense had one of their best performances. Terrence Newman has an interception. They're playing well in the secondary. Kind of the tale of two quarters there. Washington kind of dominated the first quarter, and then Dallas had a very strong second quarter and kind of got those stats back on par.
Everything but the points, and there were 3 turnovers, but neither team could take advantage. Witten, the tight end, going in motion to the right, first down, and Vinny Testaverde pulls it down and then goes out to his running back, Julius Jones. And Jones gets by one potential hit and is close to the first down at the 41-yard line. Sean Taylor initially missed Julius Jones on the high hit and gets close to the first down yardage.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get a little bit extra. I thought he got some of the face mask. Right there you saw, didn't really grab a hold of it, but give him a little head slap there as he came up to make the tackle.
And it is a first down for Dallas. Eddie George has come in at running back. There you see a burgundy and gold, but this is a gold and white face mask array.
What those white things are, look like some shock absorbers when he comes in and hits somebody.
Or just plain tape. Eddie George, not much there. And of course, Eddie George, who was the running back when Julius Jones was injured early in the season. And Tony, what do you have?
I got a chance to talk to Coach Parcells, and he said, I asked him about the conservative offense of attack they've got, and I got a little chilly on my chin. Don't pay no attention to that. And he says, on first down we have to open it up a little bit more, but second down is the tendency for the Redskins to go and bring some pressure. So he wants to still stay conservative on second down, but to try and open it up on first. We'll see what happens.
Tony, you have no chili on your chin.
Gotcha.
It's good, though, man. I got good chili down here,
yeah. Bro. Very neat.
I hear you guys eating up there.
Julius Jones turning the corner, and not much there as Sean Springs tackles Jones in a loss of 1 yard. Sean Springs with the 2 sacks from the secondary in the first half. Here you see Vinny Testaverde, who, boy, the rating slim thing goes up when they get to the fourth quarter with 9 picks.
Yeah, some critical ones there in the fourth quarter. Had one last week Philadelphia jumped ahead 12-7. Also a big drop by Quincy Morgan too, but the interception was the final blow that sealed that game for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Cowboys had the edge in turnovers, but still lost. And there's the quick toss to Witten. Witten still on his feet. And finally brought down by a group led by Ryan Clark. It's never one guy who makes the tackle for the Redskins, always a group.
Well, you got number 36 coming, and he's the first guy that hits you. Usually that tackle's about 3 yards backwards from where the initial contact was made. And I tell you, the safeties in the NFL today have become such big, physical, athletic guys. Everybody talks about the linebacker position being a group that's very athletic. These safeties playing in the NFL today, we got two of them today, Roy Williams and Sean Taylor. To me, the safety position, one of the most athletic positions across the board in football.
Matt McBriar, whoa, and a booming kick. And this one will go into the end zone.
Just barely.
Monster kick.
I'll tell you what, didn't have topspin on it, and there's a flag down. Penalty marker is down. Boy, Matt McBriar, who last week his net punting average was under 30 yards against the Eagles, and that got under Bill Parcells' skin.
Well, it was 4th and 10, so running into the kicker doesn't get him the first down.
Taylor
Running
Jacobs.
into the kicker, receiving team number 84. 5-yard penalty, replay 4th down.
If it were roughing, it would be an automatic first down.
Coming in from the center right there, just a little bump. He's trying to plead his case already. Taylor Jacobs, 84, comes in. A little bit of contact right there. Good job by Matt McBriar, young guy in the NFL, but he's already learning some of the subtleties of playing the punter position.
Learning fast, I might add. And Daryl, in this kind of a game, you know, a little mistake like that could make a difference in what has been just a field goal battle.
Oh, absolutely. That hidden yardage that everybody talks about. And, you know, unfortunately for Dallas, you know, Matt McBriar's got to come back in and kick it. Now, it only would have been to the 20, so we'll see if he can do a little bit better job here. See if they can gain a little bit of field position, force the Redskins back farther.
Antonio Brown on the 16. And Brown is stopped from behind by Brady James. We'll be back. That's who's coming up for the Redskins. 6-3 to score, and the Redskins with the ball early in the third quarter. Patrick Ramsey, who replaced Mark Brunell in the 10th game as a starter, and took a lot of punishment when he was the quarterback when Steve Spurrier was the head coach, handing off to Clinton Portis, looking to go outside, and Terrence Newman and Coakley coming up to make the play and a pickup of 4.
Dallas's defense making some plays this afternoon. They've generated a couple of turnovers, but continuing to follow up on how they played last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. Probably how Bill Parcells expected this group to play all season long.
But the team still has to learn to finish. I mean, last week they played a brilliant game defensively, only to lose. And right now they're locked in another tight game. 2nd down and 6 on the 33. And the end around to Lavernius Coles. And Coles will get the first down and go out of bounds. Here's a guy who has caught 80 or more passes for 3 straight years. And would you believe it, has nabbed only 1 touchdown catch this year. Hard to believe.
Yeah, he does a little bit of everything for this Washington Redskins team. He was a big free agent who came from the Jets a couple seasons ago. And he's in there in the situations in Joe Gibbs' offense. It's a difficult transition for Patrick Ramsey, but it's also going to be for Lavernius Coles. I mean, it's very hard for these guys coming in and learning the systems. The offense is always a little bit behind the defense and getting used to the change in head coaches.
Coles was actually drafted by Parcells when he was with the Jets, and in trouble is Ramsey and just takes the sack. Leroy Glover wouldn't let go and gets the sack. 4-yard loss on the play, and the first of the game for Dallas.
Well, it's the areas that Dallas has really struggled in during the course of the year, and it's the sacks and generating turnovers. And they've done a good job of that today. You see the determination of Leroy Glover. He's kind of on his knees going forward. You see the frustration of Ray Brown right there as he's able to crawl back and get Patrick Ramsey to the ground. But, you know, that's what, when you play against Greg Ellis or Leroy Glover, you better be ready to go 60 minutes. And every second that play is going on, they're going to give everything they have.
Leroy was so happy that he had a little bit more than a 3-step drop, too.
6th sack for Glover, headed for the Pro Bowl. Pass thrown underneath to Coles and dropped just shy of the 45-yard line, and a play made by Scott Shanley. Pickup of 8.
Scott Shanley he's got his first start last week against Philadelphia.
Played well.
Al Singleton played well. You know, I think, we talked about the core group that Joe Gibbs sees with his team. You wonder if Bill Parcells feels he has that core group, because he has talked more about some of these younger guys who played in situations, maybe more of a special teams player, but when they've gotten their chance to start, I think that he's been pleasantly surprised.
And moving in the line, and flags are down. But I think Bill Parcells, as you said, as you see the false start indication, that he really doesn't quite know all that he has, and he has said that he knows
False
some
start.
of the things he knows he doesn't have.
Offense. Number 66. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
And there's Bill Parcells' opposite number on the sideline, Joe Gibbs.
You just think that after the first year, he's gotten used to all his players, and he's going to know more about them. But, I don't think that what he told us at the end of last year, I don't know if that was true. I don't know if he learned everything he needed to from his players, because he continues to be surprised. He continues to not know exactly what he's going to get. So I think that this was a 2-year process for him to go through and really learn about the guys who are here in Dallas.
I think the one thing, Moose, you have to remember is the players need to learn each other also. That's one thing I don't think we've talked about is, continuity amongst players. They have to go out there and they have to know what they're going to get from the guys standing next to them. And it's an immature team right now, but I think both of these teams on the field today are going to be good ones to watch very soon.
Illegal formation. Offense. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
So the penalty against the Redskins, the incomplete pass, the decline of the penalty, 4th down, and Washington will punt.
Oh, Tom Tupa having his first punt block last week. First time in his entire career.
Having a good year, in my dad.
Yeah, that's one of those things you never thought you were going to hear.
Lance Frazier back to receive.
Good quarterback too, Tommy Tupa.
A versatile man.
Does it all.
Can he play the tuba? Here's the punt. And running up is Frazier, and Lance Frazier is tackled shy of the 30-yard line. 9:19 to go. It has been a defensive battle. Can the Dallas Cowboys add to their lead? 6-3 the score, and there is Joe Gibbs, experiencing only the 2nd losing season as a head coach. Back in '88, 7-9 record the year after they won the Super Bowl. His first year they were 0-5 before finishing at 500. Julius Jones on 1st down, and picking up 3 yards on the play. Jones now with 57 yards on 16 carries, and you look at Dallas's efforts on offense.
Yeah, it just, we talked about it coming back, just really no opportunity to establish a rhythm. They've got the 13-play drive, the 12-play drive, but, Dallas, all season long, they've gotten into the red zone and they've struggled coming away with touchdowns. And when you have limited opportunities, you've got to maximize the result that you have. And it's one of those things, again, they find themselves in a 6-3 ball game that could be 14-3, could be 10-3, but they can't get over that hump. 2nd
down and 8, and out of the backfield is the fullback, Darian Barnes. And Barnes appears to have a 1st down. Antonio Pierce having a big year for the Redskins, making the tackle, and it's been the case of the Redskins playing defense as usual, and the fact that the Dallas Cowboys don't have a potent offense and the Redskins don't either, really.
No, and when you're an aggressive style of defense, the area that's really vulnerable is the flat, and Darian Barnes does a good job. He puts a little fake on Ronaldo Wynn, but he's out there in the flat open, and when you're bringing that pressure up the middle or off the edges, that's an area of the field that you're going to be able to take advantage of, and then you got to throw into that equation that it's also the fullback, and nobody really worries about him anyways anymore.
He did have a nice cut in that play, though.
He actually did a very nice cut against a Pro Bowl linebacker.
Here's the measurement for the 1st down. And the Cowboys have it by a pebble. New Year's Day, join us for one of college football's most storied bowl games. The 69th SBC Cotton Bowl Classic on Fox. The Tennessee Volunteers will take on the Texas A&M Aggies in the first postseason meeting between these two storied programs in 48 years. The 69th SBC Cotton Bowl Classic, New Year's Day, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. There are the Volunteers. Play at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. First down with 8:08 remaining.
Very impressive, Mr. Stockton.
On the 38-yard line, Jason Witten driving for the first down, has it. And a few tacked on as he gets into Redskin territory. 12-yard pickup. Strong safety Ryan Clark finally stops it.
Yeah, Ryan Clark came up to make the tackle. He gets down low, but Jason Witten, he's taken a couple big hits early in this game. You're going to see how low he gets down. You match the pad level, he gets down. He drives Ryan Clark into the turf. It's been fun to watch his progression this season, and I know that you talked about the fact that he's exceeded Bill Parcells' expectations. You wonder how much more that he will ask Jason Witten to do next year in the offense with the type of season he's had this year, if he becomes more of a focal point.
Hand off to Jones, and Jones is stopped. Looked like he could have broken one, but Joe Salavea prevented it, and only a 1-yard gain as we go out to James Brown for a game break. JB.
All right, Dick Stockton, you've already talked about the Carolina move this season. Take a look here as Kerry Colbert on the receiving end of that Jake Delhomme touchdown toss. 5th touchdown of the season for Colbert, 3 of them against the Bucs, but Tampa Bay has scored 24-13 in the third. Back to Dick Stockton.
I don't think anyone wants to play that team.
No, and did you see who the first guy was to carry Colbert? Jake Delhomme. I love that in the quarterbacks. 2nd and
9, good catch made by Witten. And Witten will get to the 43-yard line where Walt Harris makes the tackle. Harris replacing Sean Springs at cornerback for the Redskins, and a gain of 4.
Looks like we might have a broken nose there on Mr. Witten. Little late Christmas present from somebody on that Redskin defense.
You ever have a broken nose?
Yes. Yes, they're not fun. They're not fun. I can't take credit for the fact that I was a rough and tumble guy and had it happen to me on the football field, though.
Right on the bridge. Right?
Yeah, my bridge broke.
You tell us later.
Yeah,
that's a good story.
I'm not going to open that can of worms.
3rd down and 4. I just asked the question. I didn't say where or when. With nearly 6 minutes remaining, and Testaverde against pressure completes to Keyshawn Johnson to the 35. Well, the Cowboys have been impressive. I think they've been smart with their play calling, moving the ball until they get to the red zone. And they're settling for field goals, but they have all season long they have been good from 20 to 20. And again, it's a good job of taking advantage of the aggressive style that this Redskin defense plays. You saw the blitzers go across the line of scrimmage. It's an adjustment on the outside, come into that vacated area. That's a quarterback and a receiver who are on the same page, and that's a great advantage when you can get to that position. 8-yard pickup, first down. And Testaverde with the deep drop this time, and going out to Julius Jones, who is wide open and could not hold on to the pass. There was no one within 15 yards of Jones out on the left flat.
Yeah, you had Jason Witten and Keyshawn Johnson going deep down the field. Now everybody ran with them, and you slip 21 Julius Jones into the flat. There is nobody around him. I think you're being generous, Dick. I think it might have been more like 30 yards. I mean, they were inside the 5. So what's he at, the 33 right there?
Well, 15 times 2. And now you got it.
You can do impressions and mathematics.
2nd and 10, not the math. 35-yard line, 2nd and 10. Neither team has scored a touchdown today. Testaverde stepping up. Whoa! Vinny Testaverde is scrambling at age 41. Even the old guys can get some yardage on the ground. He picked up 8 and a standing O.
I'll tell you what, they didn't prepare for that in Washington this week. Vinny running.
Now you want to see some indecisiveness. Somebody who is out of his comfort zone right there. That was Vinny Testaverde. He didn't know whether to slide. He didn't know whether to keep going. He's trying to, where they got to be coming from somewhere.
Yeah, they came from a couple of places, and the crowd, Lamar Marshall made the biggest hit. Yeah, he wants to get to age 42. This is the 9th play of the drive coming up. 3rd down and 2 for the Cowboys, and they give it to Jones, and Jones fighting his way, and it depends on the spot. Jones looked like he was stopped prior to the first down, and then he got a little extra. Question is, was it enough?
And there it is again, that sneaky strength that he has, the power that he runs with, because that was a defensive tackle that beat somebody, or a linebacker that hit him in the backfield. And he was able to move that pile up into a position where it's very close to converting it for a first down.
And they got to measure this. Remember the last first down the Cowboys got was, I guess, a little slither.
Barely. This one looks like it might be very similar.
Didn't get it. 6 inches.
We could see the quarterback draw from Vinny Testaverde, guys.
I don't know if he feels that confident in it.
Tony, now that the Redskins know that he is a running threat like Michael Vick, they're going to look out for that quarterback.
Changes the whole scheme of things, Dick.
Right.
I see them on the sideline drawing circles and X's and O's and all kinds of stuff at the bench.
I'll tell you, Texas Stadium is the only stadium in the NFL where you have to quiet the crowd down when you're on offense.
The fan was saying,
they're trying to get him up. You'd love the ability to get to the line of scrimmage and be able to maybe call an audible or change your play. Here they come. They're supposed to do this when it's 4th down and your defense is on the field.
Oh, is that it? 4th down and 1, and it's going to be a pass, and it's going to be caught by Keyshawn. He lost his helmet, and the flag is thrown. Keyshawn running without the headgear, but a penalty marker is down as he is tackled at the 5.
I think we saw that same play on the 4th down call in the first half.
Redskins have a player down, guys.
And it's Fred Smoot. Here's Bill Vinovich.
During the run, personal foul, face mask, defense, number 21. Pass it into the goal from the end of the run, automatic first down.
You see if that play looks familiar to you, that quick slant again, it's Fred Smoot. He takes the helmet right off of Keyshawn Johnson. And look at it, that's pretty impressive right there. Keyshawn going downfield. Now you know that those guys are going to come in and try and get a hit on you.
And Smoot is shaken up. You would never know that these teams are 5 and 9 the way they're playing out there today.
Cowboys, Redskins. Well, you got the 5-yard incidental, the 15 for the personal foul, but you know we might have to add a little bit more yardage when you actually grab the helmet and pull it off the player's head, and he's forced to continue the play without the protection.
1st and goal at the 3. Julius Jones, and a great tackle made by Cornelius Griffin, who has been the best defensive lineman for the Redskins this season, and a 2-yard loss on the play. And Joe Gibbs was talking this week how despite injuries, many of the players, including Griffin, have played so well, having banner years. There's Fred Smoot, shaken up and on the sidelines right now.
He landed very awkwardly at the end of the play. You can see right there, he's trying to stretch out that lower back. He went over Keyshawn Johnson, and his own guy landed on top of him. Bent him kind of funny when they hit the turf.
And he has been tested today. 2nd and goal at the 5, and again they go to Jones, and again the Redskins are there. So the Redskins, you'll figure, as they did all year, stopping the run. This is a loss of 1, Lamar Marshall, and now the murmurings increase from the crowd here at Texas Stadium. They've seen this before.
Yeah, and you saw Julius Jones's frustration right there. You can't ask your running back to continually make people miss in the backfield. He's forced to do it too many times during the course of the game. You watch right here. I mean, he gets the ball, and he's got a guy in the hole. There's nobody even blocking Cornelius Griffin. I mean, he is free.
So it'll be 3rd down and goal. And they're going to throw the fade, and it's going to be picked off. Sean Springs intercepts for the Redskins. Still in bounds, and once again the Dallas Cowboys tease the fans and themselves and Bill Parcells, and the interception on the fade intended for Keyshawn by Sean Springs ends that flurry.
Well, as much as they're booing Vinny Testaverde right now, if he comes out the next time Dallas takes over, it's going to be twice as loud, because that has been a knock on him over the last 7-8 games. He has had critical interceptions in the second half, and particularly the 4th quarter. And I'm not even going to get on my soapbox about throwing the fade inside the red zone.
You've been heard before on that. So we have a late flag, as you see, and Bill Vinovich will explain, and it could be a post-possession foul.
Yeah, the Redskin huddle is moving back. He'll get around to telling us in a minute. No rush.
Little conversation with Leonardo Carson. Fans are yelling for Tony Romo, who, as you know, in the last 2 weeks has been designated as the backup quarterback to Vinny Testaverde. And we still have not had an announcement. Vinny Testaverde will have thrown an interception in 9 consecutive games.
He does, yeah. Announce it for the TV.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, intercepting team number 97, removing his helmet. 15-yard penalty. Washington keeps the ball.
The Emmitt Smith rule.
Timeout.
That's a bad penalty on Ronaldo Wynn. Discipline penalty cost the Redskins yards. They trail 6-3, 2:06 remaining in the third. And the interception by Sean Springs was his 5th of the year to take over the club lead. There is Springs. Redskins have been penalized over 1,000 yards on the year for the first time in Joe Gibbs coaching history. But the Redskins have the ball and they go play action on first down. And Ramsey won't get it off. Leroy Glover. And the sack for the Cowboys is their 2nd of the game.
Well, the Dallas defense came out and responded when Julius Jones had the fumble early in the first half. And again, it's Leroy Glover making a big play. Look at him continue to battle. Takes his guy all the way upfield. Randy Thomas walks him back to the quarterback and spins off to get Patrick Ramsey as he steps up. But after a turnover earlier in this game, the defense rose up, forced a 3-and-out, got the offense back in the field with decent position. We'll see if they can do it again.
2 sacks for Glover, gives him 7 on the year. 2nd down and 16. From the 14, a mix-up. And Ramsey alertly gets a few of it back. Liddell Betts was supposed to be the running back to get the ball. Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, trying to keep the Redskins down in their own zone. Keep in mind now, in the waning minutes of this third quarter, that the Washington Redskins have not won a game this year that they have trailed at any time. Not once this year. They're down 6-3 and looking at 3rd and 14.
Think you got a few guys over here going to come with some pressure?
Here they come. And the pass on a slant. And Rod Gardner wasn't even looking, it doesn't believe, on the play. Gardner was not looking at the quarterback, and Lance Frazier was the closest to it. He's done a great job on Gardner today.
Lance Frazier was the guy that the Eagles were going to go after last week. That's just a situation. He did a good job on his release. He got Lance Frazier turned around, but there was a miscommunication between Rod Gardner and Patrick Ramsey.
Tom Tupa will kick from the 2-yard line. So the Cowboys defense holds in what has been a tight, tension-filled game. And here is Lance Frazier on the return, but the Redskins are there. They would not let Frazier get much, and it was Mike Sellers limiting him to a 10-yard return. 3 world champions for the Dallas Cowboys. My partner has 3 Super Bowl rings. Up here now watching the Cowboys at 5-9, starting from the 40-yard line. Leading 6-3 over the Redskins. Cowboys have won 13 of the last 14 games over Washington. 37 seconds remain in the third quarter. Vinny Testaverde remains at quarterback, and Testaverde is going deep and wide open downfield.
Incomplete.
And it's no good, out of bounds. Keyshawn Johnson had nowhere near him and could not stay in bounds.
You've got to give yourself a little bit of cushion on the sideline. Sean Springs pushes him to, he didn't even really force him over there. You've got to give yourself a couple of yards on that sideline, so if the pass as it comes in does drift, you've got a little bit of a buffer there. You can see he doesn't get that second foot down. It's out of bounds. You've got to know where you are on the field, and the easiest way to prevent that thing from happening is don't drift to the sideline when you're running around. There was nobody that forced Keyshawn that tight to the sideline.
Missed opportunity by Dallas there. 2nd and 10. Julius Jones trying to go up the middle. Tony, what did you see around the Redskins bench?
Well, before we went to commercial, Patrick Ramsey came off to the sideline, was talking. He's a pretty good leader. I was impressed by that. He got his receivers and he's got his running backs, and he was talking about his footwork and making some corrections. So that was nice to see.
All right, in the final seconds run out here in this quarter.
I tell you, Patrick Ramsey has all the intangibles you want in a quarterback. It's just a question of him getting more comfortable in Joe Gibbs' system.
After 3, Cowboys 6, Redskins 3. Fox NFL Sunday continues after a word from your local Fox station. The injury front, Fred Smoot still out, has lower back spasms. The cornerback, Clinton Portis, has a shoulder injury. Meanwhile, the Cowboys are looking at 3rd down and 8 on the 42. Here comes the blitz, and it's read perfectly, but the Cowboys may not have the first down.
He got a great spot.
Quincy
Wow,
Morgan
did he give him
was
a good
stopped.
spot.
He will have the first down now, but I think they gave him a full yard.
Oh, he even backed off a little bit as he came in. That was caught short of the first down. I don't know if it's worth a challenge right now in this situation for Joe Gibbs to challenge the spot of that ball, but I don't think he had it.
I don't either. No way.
Wow. He got 2 yards.
Yeah.
You got to throw it. There it is.
And now we're going to see the challenge. So the challenge by Joe Gibbs, and I got to figure it's one he's going to win.
Washington is challenging the spot on the field with regards to forward progress. Timeout.
I've never seen that one.
Yeah.
That was, I guess it's the Christmas spirit, huh? A little generous the day after still.
Joe says, what about my gift?
After reviewing the play, the runner had to get to the 50-yard line for a first down. The forward progress was the 49.5. 4th down and a half-yard to go. Washington is not charged with timeout.
He's being generous when he says 49.5.
Yeah, you know, closer to the 49 to me. Watch Quincy Morgan. He's got the ball in the upfield shoulder, but right there's your stop. I feel that that's closer. His foot is on the 49.5,
right,
and the ball is behind his foot. So.
Adi Jamo making the first down saving, as it turned out, play. So Joe Gibbs, who was 1 of 6 on challenges going into that one, gets a W there. And 4th down, Matt McBriar will punt. Antonio Brown back deep for the Redskins early here in the 4th quarter. No touchdowns, all field goals, no scoring in the 3rd quarter, and this one rolls into the end zone. So less than a minute has gone by here in the 4th quarter at Texas Stadium. Cowboys 6, Redskins 3. Daryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa. That's Fred Smoot going off on the cart, suffering lower back spasms. And we mentioned that Clinton Portis out with a shoulder injury, so Liddell Betts has to handle the running for the Redskins. He's carried only twice for 4 yards today. And a first down for Washington on their 20. Liddell Betts off right tackle and picks up about 8 yards before Roy Williams makes the tackle at free safety.
Tony talked about Roy Williams earlier. We haven't really seen him give one of those hits that kind of jump starts the whole defense and everything, but it's been a difficult season for Roy Williams. He's been asked to play kind of out of his comfort zone. He's been a deep half safety most of the year, not down in the mix as much, and I think it's really changed his pursuit angles and some of his abilities to make plays on the ball.
Still going to the Pro Bowl. Shows you what kind of player he is. And here's Liddell Betts with a good second effort getting the first down to the 31-yard line. A 4-yard pickup for Betts.
Moose, he still does an unbelievable job of running all over the field. I mean, I know he's not in a lot of tackles right now, but he's looking for that one shot. You know, that one that you just think about when you're out of the league 4 or 5 years. That one hit. You remember that one?
The one that makes all the old aches and pains start to resurface.
Right. You guys would know about that. First down on the 32. Play action for Ramsey, and delivers it to Gardner. Gardner is stopped at the 35-yard line, still about 7 yards away from first down yardage. And there is Darren Woodson, who has been injured. And of course, when people talk about injuries, you just assume you're going to fight through them. That was a huge loss for their defense.
It really was, in more ways than one. Number one, his productivity on the field, but his leadership in the secondary of being able to get all the guys lined up and to tell these young guys like a Terrence Newman or a Lance Frazier what they've seen from teams and just the little subtleties that you learn from playing that position for 12+ years in the NFL.
Second down and 6. Ramsey has Coles, and a good tackle put on by Terrence Newman, preventing further damage. 4 yards will bring up third down and short for the Redskins.
So the good thing that Terrence Newman does on the end of this play is he doesn't compound the mistake. It's a short catch, and he just watches Lavernius Coles. He sees where he is, and he makes a short tackle. He doesn't do anything where he takes his eyes away from the receiver to try and make a play on the ball, and then all of a sudden you've got a catch that's going to be for 4 yards, but you got 20 yards of a run after it.
Third down and 2. And Ramsey's pass caught for the first down by Brian Kozlowski, close to midfield, picking up 8. And for a game break, let's bring in James Brown from L.A.
Hey, Dick, take a look at this bullet thrown by Jake Delhomme to Mike Seidman, who's down on the ground in the end zone. Again, a laser, making it 34-14 Carolina. And Sean Alexander about to become a wealthier man. You know, this is a contract year. Look at this run, Dick. 17 yards. Good-looking run indeed. Seattle on top, 17-7. Back to Dick Stockton.
And the drama continues here in the 16th week of 17 in the NFL regular year. Liddell Betts tries the middle of the line and gets 1 yard right now. And we'll take a look at the NFC playoff picture. Simple part is on the left side, where the Eagles have home field throughout. Atlanta Falcons have the 2nd seed and a bye in the first round. Packers win the NFC North. And Seattle trying to hold on to a 1-game lead over the Rams, who play tomorrow night. And as you pointed out, the Saints right now would be a wild card team with the Vikings.
Yeah, amazing that they've gotten to the point where they control their destiny after everything that happened shortly after Thanksgiving.
Hard to believe, but there they are. Second down and 9. Liddell Betts.
There's nobody out there.
First down for Betts to the 41-yard line of Dallas. 10-yard gain with no one out there.
Watch when he gets the ball. I don't know where everybody goes on the defensive right side. You had Dat Wynn was your only defender out there. He gets blocked. Nathan Jones was running this way for summer. He's chasing the guy in man coverage and doesn't do a good job of getting back up into here. There's your key block right there. But that's Dat Wynn. He's really the only guy that was there for run support.
First down for the Redskins on the Cowboy 41. 6-3 Dallas. And here's Coles reversing direction. But the Cowboys are there, and Coles goes down, and a big loss on the play. And it was Leonardo Carson who chased him down. Loss of 5 yards.
Now they got Lavernius Coles down.
Earlier, Coles came off the field, and they were working on his shoulder. Maybe he aggravated it.
When their defense has always been built on speed, and very rarely do you have success coming all the way across the field. And guess who it was, Tony? It was
Roy
number 31.
Williams.
Your guy.
He got a half of one. That wasn't all he had.
No, that was not close to what he had.
And a timeout, 9:35 remaining in the 4th. Back here at Texas Stadium. Redskins driving.
And Roy Williams, he's still looking for advice from Darren Woodson, even though he's on the sideline. He came over between there. That shows you how valuable that guy is.
Second down, 15 for the Redskins on the 47 of the Cowboys. Patrick Ramsey, plenty of time. And he finds Taylor Jacobs. And Jacobs still on his feet, finally knocked down at the 21-yard line. Jacobs went in for Lavernius Coles and delivers to the tune of 25 yards.
What a presence Patrick Ramsey has. I mean, to have the whereabouts of where the line of scrimmage was, because he pressed this as far as he possibly could. I mean, a lot of the Dallas defenders, they gave up in their coverage because they figured that Patrick had to be beyond the line of scrimmage. That's the intangibles. I mean, you heard it earlier. I think he's got all those qualities, and on top of that, he's a smart guy. He loves to compete, but to have the whereabouts to know exactly where the line of scrimmage with it and how far you can press that play.
Here's Liddell Betts for a couple of yards, and Coles back into the lineup for the Redskins. There have been 4 turnovers in this game, 2 by each side. and 3 of the 4 turnovers prevented touchdown opportunities. Julius Jones fumbling when he was headed for the end zone. Vinny Testaverde throwing a fade into the end zone, and it was picked off by Sean Springs. And the Redskins with a chance with Kozlowski tipping the ball into the hands of Lynn Scott. So no touchdowns, but we could have had 3.
You see right there, for 2 quarters, this Redskin offense just could not get in any type of rhythm, and then all of a sudden they're able to put everything together on this drive.
2nd and 5, play action. Ramsey going underneath, and it's a first down as Chris Cooley, the H-back, and does Joe Gibbs love an H-back in that role? Picks up 8 yards.
Yeah, that was a position that we hadn't heard for 11 seasons until Joe Gibbs came back into the NFL coaching ranks, and all of a sudden the H-back is back in vogue, and he's found a good one in Chris Cooley. He has all the qualities that you need, and again, here's Patrick Ramsey. You know, look at that with Greg Ellis bearing down on him, adjusting his throw, finding that lane as small as it was to be able to deliver that ball to Chris Cooley.
1st and goal at the 7. Cowboys lead the Redskins by 3, and here's Liddell Betts as he gets to the 5-yard line. So the Redskins trying to score the first touchdown in this game and trying to end a string of 13 victories by the Cowboys in 14 tries. It has been a defensive struggle all the way in this game. Clinton Portis out of there with a shoulder injury. That's why Betts is handling it. And Bill Parcells, who has run off 7 straight wins against his respected opposite number Joe Gibbs in their meetings. Ramsey perfect on the drive. 2nd and goal. Fake handoff, and the pass caught for the touchdown by Robert Royal, his 2nd in as many weeks. 5-yard toss to Royal, who caught the first touchdown pass last Saturday for the Redskins at San Francisco.
Robert Royal is your true tight. He's going to be the true tight end right there. Comes in. Now watch that little area he finds. See, he was going to bend it towards the flat, and he came back in. There were 4 Dallas Cowboy defenders in that area, but he was able to find that little soft spot in the zone. Patrick Ramsey made the quick decision, got the ball there very quickly.
And Jeff Chandler will try to give the Redskins a 4-point lead with 6:44 remaining in the 4th. And the Redskins lead it 10-6. Well, does Dallas have an opportunity to come back and regain the lead? We'll find out when we come back to Texas Stadium. And the Redskins lead by a score of 10-6, their first lead since 3-0, and all they want for Christmas is Troy back. Well, Troy is in the stadium somewhere, and they're not going to get Troy, but the big question is, what do the Cowboys do about their quarterback situation? So far, it's been Vinny Testaverde all the way. Scoring drive, capped with a 5-yard toss from Ramsey to Royal. As Chandler kicks off. And Jacques Reeves returning for the Cowboys and pushed out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. 6:39, plenty of time remaining in the 4th, but Washington is up by 4. Well, the good news for the Redskins is that they have the lead. The bad news is that they will be eliminated from the playoffs by virtue, among other things, of New Orleans beating Atlanta today. So even if the Redskins go on and win, they're out. I don't think Joe Gibbs will be that surprised. He just wants to finish strong. They've won 2 of their last 3, leading here, and then getting Vinny Testaverde on a sack. And it's Ron Warner who gets it, and a loss of 7 yards.
And this is one of the positions that Bill Parcells has been concerned about all season long. He's had Torrin Tucker out there. He sat him down last week and brought in Kurt Vollers to the right side. He's been his swing tackle, and there's a couple spots that I don't know how confident he is in the guys manning those positions right now.
And of course, that's the offensive line, and I guess there's a lot of subject material on the quarterback story as Vinny Testaverde remains in there. 2nd down and 17. Testaverde underneath, and Richie Anderson can't hold on. So where are the Cowboys as far as the QB spot going, Daryl?
Well, as long as this was going to be a close game, Vinny Testaverde was going to be your quarterback today. And, you know, I think that when you're in a season like this, a situation like this, you're always looking to see what can the guy behind you do. And you can see the search that Dallas has had since Troy has left. Is it Drew Henson? Is it Tony Romo? The bad thing is, I don't know if they know enough about him. There's talk about both of those guys going over to NFL Europe in the offseason. And, you know, Bill Parcells is stuck by his decision that he just doesn't think it's going to give either one of those guys an opportunity to be successful. But let me tell you, you've had the critical interception again by Vinny Testaverde in the end zone. We saw 2 sacks right there. There's just, I don't know, is Drew Henson going to do any better if he's in there? Will Tony Romo do any better if he's in there in this situation?
Well, the one thing the crowd doesn't take all those things into consideration. They say the quarterback in there right now is getting sacked and throwing interceptions, and that is the big problem. But Bill Parcells fully aware of the fact, as Clemens gets the sack there, that if you don't have experience, you can't play, and he knows he's played some very tough defensive teams lately.
It's, you know, I think the fans and the media are curious to see what these guys behind Vinny Testaverde have. I think that Bill Parcells knows what they have, and I just don't think it's anything that's going to pay him any dividends during the course of a game to put them in this type of situation.
Penalty flag down after the 52-yard punt by McBriar.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 57. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. Washington keeps the ball. First down.
Of course, the Redskins quarterback situation, you might say, why did Joe Gibbs wait as long as he did with Mark Brunell, who is a very expensive free agent? He's told Brunell, you have a valuable role with this club next year, even though he's already named Patrick Ramsey as his man.
Yeah, and they have been, you know, questioning that decision. Why did you wait so long for Patrick Ramsey? Number one, Patrick was not comfortable in the system. You know, he was able to use the time behind Mark Brunell to find out exactly what was expected from the quarterback in Joe Gibbs' offensive system. So it paid dividends for them, but I just don't think it's the same situation as you have in Dallas.
And Ramsey, who was 7 for 7 on the last drive, hands off to Liddell Betts. And you know, Joe Gibbs' style is use the clock as much as you can, nursing a 4-point lead. And nearly 5 minutes remaining in the fourth, and a 4-yard gain on first down.
You know, Moose, you talk about these quarterbacks, and I think Roethlisberger from Pittsburgh really ruined it for everybody. Everybody, all the fans, I guess, on every team think that they have a Roethlisberger on the sideline.
Good point.
And that, well, Parcells has said the fact that the quarterback needs a supporting cast. And when you look what Ben Roethlisberger has in Pittsburgh, their defense, their running game, their offensive line is stout. They've got great receivers. I think he's got a tremendous cast around him, and he was able to just feed off of their playmaking ability. Bill Parcells does not see that here in Dallas.
Not yet. Second down and 6. And Liddell Betts gets to the 28-yard line. You had Alan Faneca to run behind, and you're Deuce Staley or you're the bus, and you have a great defense. Roethlisberger could look very good so far, and it remains to be seen as we get to the end of the year. If teams do stop the running attack of the Steelers, how effective will the rookie be?
And the defense also. You can't forget about that defense, Dick.
Why is that, Tony?
Well, I just think it makes it easier for a quarterback, man. Come on. You want me to go into it? We only have 4 minutes and 6 seconds left.
No, I was just paying homage to you. I know where
See me on the way to the airport, and I'll fill you in.
Third down and 4 with under 4 minutes remaining. A big down for the Cowboys defense if they want to hang in. Ramsey steps up and throws it. Nearly sacked. Pressure by Greg Ellis. And fourth down coming up, and the Cowboys get another opportunity.
Boy, their defense is really up and stood up and made some plays at critical times. They've got that win, and Roy Williams walked up inside, but it's Greg Ellis again. You know, we've seen Dallas 4 or 5 times this season. I tell you, he is the most consistent defensive player I think I've seen all season long. Nothing spectacular, nothing flashy, which is good, solid play every snap.
Having a terrific year as Tom Tupa with the kick. Lance Frazier gets by 1, but he doesn't get by James Thrash. And Cowboys will start from the 23.
They're going to be coming out. They're going to be going after this Redskin defense again, who started the game very physical. They've been able to generate some critical turnovers, taken some points from Dallas, at least 6, probably more like 10 or 14, but it's relentless, and it's a pressure-based system to disrupt the offense's rhythm, and we've seen it work very well today, because Vinny Testaverde and the offense of the Dallas Cowboys have never been able to get in any type of rhythm.
And despite what the crowd believes, Bill Parcells has been around a long time, and if he feels that Vinny Testaverde gives him his best chance to win, regardless of the sacks and the interceptions, he's got to believe in it, and he has a chance to win this game. He doesn't want to lose his 10th game today. 3:41 remaining in the fourth. Vinny trying to get away from pressure. And steps out of bounds at the 26. Brandon Noble put the pressure on, and there Ramsey, and they're working on his right knee on the bench.
Well, it's been a tough day for the Redskins. We've seen a couple guys leave the field, and Patrick Ramsey, that'd be a big loss to him. But you know, you've seen the quarterback on the last, what, 3-4 snaps of the Dallas Cowboys either get sacked or flushed from the pocket. So, you know, what good is it going to do to put Tony Romo or Drew Henson in a situation like that at this time? It's not, you know, Vinny's not playing bad. He's not having a whole lot of opportunity to be successful out there this afternoon.
Richie Anderson goes wide left, but it won't matter as Testaverde is dropped by Marcus Washington. And for the Redskins, that'll be their 5th sack of this game.
Greg Blanche sees that hole right there, Dal, and he's just going to keep going at it.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting some guys free. He has really gotten into what the Dallas offensive line and running backs are doing in their protection schemes, because we have seen on a number of occasions this afternoon of the blitzer coming completely free.
I love the motivational ability of Greg Blanche, big time.
He's always enjoyable to talk to.
3rd down and 10 as we approach 3 minutes remaining.
First charge timeout.
And the Redskins
Washington
call a timeout as their first of the second half. It'll be 3rd down and 10 coming up, and the Redskins looking to stop the Cowboys. Let's take a look at the Pro Bowl coming up. Marcus Washington, who just got the sack, will be going to the Pro Bowl, and Clinton Portis, Sean Taylor, and Antonio Pierce. Taylor, the impressive rookie, are alternates.
Oh, Antonio Pierce, he wasn't even expected to be a starter. He's had an outstanding year. And then you see again, that's 5 defensive guys that are alternates, and that was one of the reasons they felt as though that they were overlooked, because this defense has played well all season, and when your offense is struggling, there's even that much more pressure on that unit to kind of hold the team together, and that's what this group did. And it's going to be interesting to see them next year. They've had a full season with Greg Williams and Greg Blosh and all their defensive coaches to really learn what they're trying to do from a scheme standpoint. When they take the field next year with a year under their belt knowing this system, it's going to be fun to watch. And let's not forget, LeVar Arrington back at 100% is another addition to that group.
3rd down and 10. Redskins have only 2 healthy cornerbacks right now. Can Testaverde take advantage? He's going to go down. He actually picks up a couple of yards. Chris Clemens, who had a sack a couple of years ago, a couple of weeks in this league, and it'll be 4th down.
Flozell Adams getting beat straight across his face, and he gets a little bit too deep. The quarterback gets flushed. That defender is coming at the quarterback. He sees his movement. The offensive lineman doesn't know where he is. He's able to come right across and get the sack.
Matt McBriar kicking it away, heading over towards Antonio Brown at the 31. Brown loses the ball. We'll wait for the official call.
Antonio Brown, number 86, he sure is hoping that that's the way the ball is going to go.
And the Dallas Cowboys at the bottom of the pile recover the fumble, and what a break for the Cowboys. They'll have it on the Redskin 41 with 2:21 to go. I think Keith O'Neill is the player on the bottom of it.
Yeah, we don't know if he had it the whole time, but he was sure the guy who came up with it at the end. You see the ball loose right there. We'll see who is the first guy. Looks like Mike Sellers from the Redskins had the best shot at it. Somehow Keith O'Neill came out of the bottom. There was 4 or 5 Redskins closer to the ball. I did not see Keith O'Neill at all when that thing started, but he came out from the bottom of the pile with it.
So now a test for the Redskins defense as the Cowboys getting a possible break here. Testaverde being chased, and he throws it away. Pass is incomplete. Got out of the pocket apparently.
He just got out of that pocket, Dick.
Yeah, out of the pocket and beyond the line of scrimmage.
There you see what the Redskins are going for. They want to take over the #1 position as the best defensive team. The Steelers, look at that. 10 yards difference right now between the Redskins and the Steelers with 1 week left to go. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Testaverde has had to run for his life. Slant complete to Keyshawn Johnson. 2 yards shy of the first down will bring up 3rd and short. Good play made by the middle linebacker, Antonio Pierce.
Yeah, you are absolutely right, Dick. Vinny Testaverde has just been scrambling all over the place. He's had guys coming free, blitzers hitting him. Been a tough day at the offense for number 16.
2-minute warning. Two minutes remaining, and the Cowboys looking at 3rd down and 2. And keep in mind, they have 2 downs to get the first down. And they need a touchdown. A field goal will not do. Testaverde with a pump fake. Testaverde throwing deep in a crowd. There were 3 defenders around Jason Witten. And it's almost as if the Redskins were in the Cowboys' offensive huddle.
I agree. When you know what guy they're going to go to in a situation like that. Now that was going for the entire thing right there, but there they all are. 3 Redskin defenders, a linebacker, a safety, and a corner running down the field with Jason Witten. And let me tell you, this is no gimme right here. I like the aggressive play call to go for everything, but you needed to have somebody shallow to check that ball down to.
So it's 4th and 2, going up against his vaunted defense. Swinging it out to Jones. Wow. That's not what you want. You want to go upfield. And Lamar Marshall makes the tackle on Julius Jones, and the Redskins will take over on downs. And Texas Stadium showered with boos from the Cowboy faithful, and can you blame them?
Well, we've seen this play a couple times. There's Vinny. He looks backside to Keyshawn Johnson. That's the play we've seen twice be successful on 4th down. I think it was going to be successful again on that situation. I thought he had Keyshawn. Now, when you hold that ball and pull it down, you've made a play fake to the right. All your Redskin defenders moved that way initially, and then you came back to the same side of the field. You made Julius Jones stop his feet to make the catch. The pursuit of this defense we've seen all afternoon. There's no way that play had a chance to be successful.
So 1:46 seconds remaining, and the Cowboys have all 3 timeouts remaining, and they will call them on the defensive end. Liddell Betts gets a couple, and the Cowboys will use their first.
Here's that play again. It's the backside with the slant to Keyshawn Johnson. You tell me. I mean, he's right there. Now, Sean Taylor was down in the mix. Maybe he was in the throwing lane. Maybe Vinny caught him in his line of sight to Keyshawn Johnson, but he sure did look open. And if he could have held that ball and got it to him after that, I don't know if he doesn't go to all the way to the end zone either.
9 catches, 84 yards. The rest of the team has 9 receptions, and Keyshawn marching up and down the sideline, saying to himself, I was open, and I would have had the first down plus.
Well, it was successful twice on 2 other 4th downs. Don't know why they didn't go to it again.
Want to welcome our audience joining us here in the waning minutes here at Texas Stadium. Dick Stockton, Daryl Johnston, along with Tony Siragusa. The Redskins with the ball and leading the Cowboys 10-6. The Cowboys had a 3rd down and 2 at the 41-yard line, and 2 plays failed to get the first down. And now the Redskins in command here. And Liddell Betts in there with Clinton Portis out with a shoulder injury has handled the running attack. Cowboys will use their 2nd timeout. Today's game is being produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Sandy Grossman. The associate director is Charles McDonald. Sideline producer Jacob Ullman. The broadcast associates are Wayne Wilson and Michael Thompson. The technical producer is Bob Mueller. Pre-game show produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The studio technical supervisor is Jack Simmons. The senior producer is Bill Brown. And the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. And we like to thank our spotter Chris Visser, Rick Odioso on stats, and Mike Eldridge and Charlie Dameyer also with our exceptional stat crew.
Yeah, and I'd like to, a special thanks to everybody on our crew. They make us look great every week, but they gave up Christmas with their families to be here to get ready for this game, and I appreciate that sacrifice. So thanks to everybody on the crew, especially for this weekend.
This is Goose. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it.
3rd down and 7. And Liddell Betts will be tackled, and the Cowboys will use up their 3rd and final timeout. So the Redskins will have to punt, and the Cowboys will have one last chance.
Well, the Redskins come out, have a good first drive, but a critical interception down in the red zone, and that was the kind of the moral of the story there in the first half. Nobody could make that final push into the end zone. We had a lot of red zone turnovers, and then the Redskins finally got the touchdown that put them ahead, and there's that fourth down play. Now, Dallas had run a play very similar twice during the course of the game and had been successful in their conversion, and for some reason didn't go to Keyshawn on backside slant, threw it out to Julius Jones, and he was stopped short of the first down.
Redskins outgained. They committed more turnovers than the Cowboys. Ramsey with 2 interceptions, and 3 of the 5 interceptions could have resulted in touchdowns, but the Cowboys still with hope as Lance Frazier is back deep for Tom Tupa's punt. Frazier calling for the fair catch at the 24-yard line.
Tom Tupa's done a nice job today, guys.
He's done a good job all year, Tony. And if you play for Joe Gibbs, you better be able to kick the ball. Well, Fox tonight, it's the Simpsons Extreme Mistakeover episode, followed by Arrested Development, nominated for 2 Golden Globe Awards, including Best Comedy, and a full hour of Malcolm in the Middle. It all starts with King of the Hill next, except on the West Coast. Cowboys need a touchdown to pull this out, trailing 10-6. And if the Redskins can hold on, it'll be the first time that they have won this year when they have trailed at any point in the game. When they have been behind, they haven't won. Today they were behind, and they're on the brink of victory. Testaverde's first pass thrown onto the Redskin bench. And we have time for another game break. Here's James Brown.
Take a look at New England, which secured a first-round bye today. Tom Brady drilling a bullet to Daniel Graham en route to a convincing 23-7 victory over the New York Jets. That is the final. New England marching on back to Dick, Daryl, and Tony.
But Pittsburgh right now would be the home field, and of course the Super Bowl 39 will be on Fox. Meanwhile, the Cowboys still fighting. 2nd down and 10 out of the shotgun. Testaverde has played all the way and off the hands of Keyshawn Johnson, bringing up 3rd and 10.
Well, you just see these same plays week after week in the critical situations for Dallas. Last week in Philadelphia, it was Quincy Morgan with an opportunity to make a big catch when they've gotten into a similar situation. An opportunity to go down the field, get some points, and steal a victory from the Eagles. And Terrence Copper, an opportunity to make a play here. Now, you go up and make that catch. They can never make that critical play at a critical time. They can't get over the hump.
They used to be able to all the time, Moose.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you.
It's frustrating to watch.
Spread formation, Testaverde throwing it up. And Terrence Copper was the closest to it. And in all defense for Vinny Testaverde, and the crowd not liking what they're seeing today, they're playing arguably one of the best defenses in the NFL and throwing everything at him.
Yeah, he has been, running for his life back there. And he came up a little bit injured on that last play. But he has never been able to feel comfortable in the pocket. The offensive line has really struggled the last few weeks. And, this blitzing scheme that Greg Williams uses has got them confused again this afternoon. They've had guys coming free on blitzes, and Vinny's just never been able to be comfortable in the pocket.
4th down and 10. And it's caught by Patrick Creighton. His first catch of the game. And the clock continues to run, under a minute to go. The Cowboys are out of timeouts. 1st down on the 40. And now Testaverde can get the offense together with 53 on the clock.
Big conversion, and it's a guy that you don't hear much about, Patrick Creighton. And Terrence Copper had an opportunity to do that before, but you can see the kind of afternoon that Vinny Testaverde has had. The sacks, the hits, the hurries. I mean, it all takes its toll, and it's a difficult situation to be successful when you never know if when you take your drop and you set in that pocket that you're not going to have to start running for your life immediately.
2nd and 10. Here comes the pressure on Testaverde. And the pass caught by tight end Jason Witten, heading for the Pro Bowl and getting a 1st down to the 46-yard line of the Redskins. A 14-yard gain and a flag down.
Should be offsides, Redskins.
Offsides. Defense number 53. Penalties decline. Result of the play. 1st down.
Marcus Marcus Washington, and because of the penalty, the clock did stop at 47 seconds. Cowboys need a touchdown. Redskins have lost 13 of the last 14 against the Cowboys. Trying to turn things around today. Richie Anderson goes out of bounds to stop the clock at 42 seconds. And the Cowboys on the Washington 40.
You wonder what one is going to give. Are the Redskins finally going to win a game that they've trailed in? Is Dallas finally going to come back and put together a drive in the last minute of a game to steal one from somebody? It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because neither one of these groups has been successful in this situation very much this season.
So pretty much what you're saying was there's going to be one hero somewhere.
There's one hero and many goats.
2nd down and 3 from the 40. Trying to get it to Jason Witten. Incomplete. 3rd down and 3. And of course, the time, a huge factor here, as Bill Parcells' Cowboys have 2 downs to try to move the sticks, but it's not so much getting the 1st down anymore. It's really threatening getting into the red zone.
Yeah, and that has been their struggle all afternoon. They have had opportunities down in the red zone, but they've had turnovers and they've been forced to kick field goals. So yeah, you wonder if they want to get to maybe the 25-yard line and start taking their shots from there, because their offense, it just stalls once they get inside the 20.
Well, Joe Gibbs trying to end an 0-for-7 string against Bill Parcells. Time running out, though, for the Cowboys. And here is Clayton. He makes the catch. Clayton, touchdown, Dallas. Patrick Creighton, picked on the 7th round out of Northwest Oklahoma. Inactive for 5 games this season with a 39-yard, perhaps game-saving grab.
You saw number 36, Sean Taylor, right there. He bit to go get Keyshawn Johnson. He didn't expect Vinny Testaverde to go to Patrick Creighton with the game on the line. He was worried about number 19.
And this crowd is stunned the way things were going for the Cowboys offense. Billy Cundiff with the extra point. And the Cowboys lead 13-10, 30 seconds remaining in the game. And the Redskins, in case you're wondering, have 2 timeouts left. But the hero is Creighton and also Mr. Testaverde.
Look at that, the first of his career. It's a game winner for the Dallas Cowboys. But I want you to watch. They're going to release Patrick Creighton. Number 36, Sean Taylor. There he goes. You saw him. He was all the way over on Keyshawn Johnson. That's where he thought the play was going to go to. That's a guy that you're going to be worried about when the game is on the line. Vinny Testaverde had a confidence in a young guy, gave him an opportunity to make a play, and he's the guy that really kept this drive alive. He had the 4th and 10 reception. When really, at that situation, I really didn't think Dallas was going to convert there the way they had performed on the previous 3 plays.
Absolutely, Daryl. There was no indication. And you can see how relieved Vinny Testaverde is, and I'm sure the fans love him right now. They're not calling for Tony Romo. That the way they were working around the 50-40, it didn't look like they were really going to challenge the Redskins deep.
No, and I tell you, Greg Williams, I was just about to say, the thing that I like about what they're doing defensively is they're not playing that prevent scheme. They're not getting away from a style of defense. They have played the entire game at the most critical time of the game and go to something different. They stayed with a lot of their pressures. They were playing some man coverage, but it was just the fact that Sean Taylor, that's a young guy who's thinking that, hey, I'm worried about Keyshawn Johnson. I'm not really worried about number 84 out there.
Ladell Betts returning the kickoff as the Redskins down to less than a minute to try to get in position for at least a tying field goal. A miracle 39-yard touchdown pass from Vinny Testaverde to Patrick Creighton moments ago, giving the Cowboys lead when it all seemed lost for Dallas.
Yeah, Patrick Creighton was a receiver on a 4th and 10 pass, and right there he gets down the sideline for his first career touchdown. Couldn't not have come at a better time if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. It puts them ahead 13-10 with 23 seconds left.
And the Redskins still with 2 timeouts remaining. Have a long way to go and they have to get the ball downfield. They're on the 29-yard line. Patrick Ramsey, who seemingly had engineered the game, and an incomplete pass, and Eric Abagu with big pressure on Ramsey. 17 seconds left.
So, Daryl, what do you think Coach Parcells is going to say at the press conference after the game?
Vinny again.
Yeah, when are you guys going to start believing in me that I know the right decisions?
He could pretty much just say, shut up! That's what I would say.
Well, this would be a tremendous win, and the streaks might continue in this game. 2nd and 10. Ramsey stepping up. Lavernius Coles on the crossing pattern. Coles getting into Cowboy territory and inside the 40-yard line, and a timeout called with 5 seconds on the clock. And the Redskins have very little time to get in position if they don't try what would be like a 60-plus yard field goal now.
Watch the run after the catch by Lavernius Coles. It looked for a second like he had a seam to get all the way up inside everybody. You see the collision right there, Lynn Scott coming across. If James Thrash could have gotten a little bit better block right there, Terrence Newman comes in. And now the dilemma for the Redskins is what do you do in this situation?
They're going to go for the field goal.
40, what is it going to be, 56 yards? They're at the 39-yard line, probably a 56-yard field goal.
Well, Jeff Chandler has not missed since he was signed a week ago Thursday. Kicked 4 for 4 against the 49ers, including a 49-yarder. That was his career long. Pre-game, that was his longest. This will be a 57-yard attempt to try to tie the game with 5 seconds remaining. Nothing to it. 57-yard field goal to tie on the road against the Cowboys.
We got Flozell Adams in here, number 76. This is going to be a low kick because of the distance.
Gibbs and Parcells look on, and this kick is no good, well short, and the game is over. So the streaks continue. The Cowboys have won now 14 of 15 from the Redskins. Bill Parcells makes it 8 straight against Gibbs, and the Redskins still have not won a game this year that they have trailed at any time. An exciting, thrilling game between the two great rivals and the coaches who meet at midfield. The final score, the Dallas Cowboys 13, the Washington Redskins 10. And for Daryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa, Dick Stockton saying so long. Neither of these teams going to postseason. You never know it the way they play today. That's the story here in Dallas. Right now, let's go to James Brown in our studios in Los Angeles.